about is timeshares. Timeshares. We really like that. We have a full team here to any number of things you might be interested in for that. So we need to start tonight and give a big round of applause. This event was the brainchild of our new scholarship coordinator, Linda Malusian. And all we would be remiss if we didn't also mention her partner in crime, Donna Neese over here. Thank you to both, not only for this event, but also for the work you're doing on behalf of our students and our scholarship program throughout the district. So I want to say thank you so much for coming. When we thought of this idea, we thought, well, maybe we'll get 25 to 30 folks. So you don't have power tonight, do you? Throw your hair and food, yeah. So okay, next time. So, and I understand there's also another event. The Fair Board is having an event at the next building over. They actually have alcohol over there. So we'll be a mass exodus in 2 minutes or so with that. I want to say welcome to you all. How many alumni of the district, how many alumni do we have in the audience here? Graduates of the district. Wow, look at this. Nice. I understand a member of our staff, our principal from Bear River, is a Del Oro graduate. Is that correct? Okay. That slipped by me. Sorry. So with that, I also want to give some welcome to our folks. I understand that we have the entire County Board of Supervisors are here tonight. If you are here, could you raise your hands so we can recognize you? If you are an elected official or a part of any school district in the county or so, and or county office of education, could you raise your hands as well, so that we celebrate your leadership? Thank you, and to your college. So thank you so much. Anybody else that we've forgotten? We have our school foundation board is here tonight, and they help direct us in our scholarship programs, and we want to recognize them and your work and leadership. So thank you so much. So I want to tell a little bit, before we dive in, a little bit about my story. My staff has had to hear this many times, but a little bit if you don't know about me. I had the honor of being appointed superintendent about a little over a year ago or so. So that's when darkness fell on the Republic and everything started to go downhill from there. It was a great honor. This is my first superintendency that I've done in my career. I was an assistant superintendent for a couple other districts prior to this. And we are an education family. I want to introduce my wife, Marcy, who is here. Marcy McFadden. And Marcy is an assistant superintendent in the Monterey Peninsula Unified School District. And so we have what we call a weekend marriage with that. So the number of fights and arguments has dropped dramatically in the last year. I just do what I'm told. That. We also have 2 boys. We have in the picture here, we have a 21-year-old Jack, who's at Cal State Monterey Bay, and then our youngest, Ryan, just graduated from high school, and he's at San Francisco State and just started there a couple months ago, and they're both doing great and doing very well in their chosen fields as well. And of course, my favorite family member is Reef, our dog. He's around 64 or so in dog years or so, and that's what who we are overall. A little bit about me in terms of my leadership. I kind of boil it down into sort of one thing. My leadership mantra is I help to set the table for great learning and instruction. That's part of what I am a part of. One unique aspect about me is I didn't come up the ranks on the instructional side. I actually came from the operations and the business side of school districts and government overall, which is somewhat unique. Only about maybe 5 to 6% of superintendents in the state come from that realm. Dominantly, most of them come from the instructional side. So in terms of my leadership and how I look at myself is a facilitator and perhaps at times a director. I am kind of woe to go into a classroom and make any suggestions in terms of instruction. I really rely on my instructional leaders, and I'll have an opportunity to say who they are, introduce them like that. So English was not my major. I was finance, okay? So there's no numbers and dollar signs. I don't think it's important. No, I'm kidding with that. And so really what I see is I rely on my staff and my experts for instructional practice and pedagogy and such, and I really try to build about that. And especially in public education, I'm a firm believer of developing a sense of consensus. There will be times when we have to make decisions to do that, but I try to seek maximum input and operate in an open, transparent fashion. And I hope in my last year, my tenure here, that I have been able to bring about that, and that is part of the long-term vision and such that we have in the district overall. Sort of an overview tonight, kind of give you a sense of what we're going to talk about overall. We're going to share some of our purpose and our focus from the district perspective. We're going to outline some of our major initiatives. We're going to sort of talk about, share both our realities as well as possibilities that are out there facing us. And then we also want to give you an invite. Our Board of Trustees, who I'll introduce in a little bit, will be embarking on an effort to develop a new strategic plan, vision, and mission statement. My predecessor, Dr. Johnson, who's here tonight, put in place a 2020 vision, and we will be carrying forth with that, renewing that overall. And there will be a process over the course of the next several months by which we need leaders, community leaders' input, as well as stakeholder input and members, and as well as just regular constituents from the community to provide that input for the development of who we are and what the direction is that we plan to go in over the next 3 to 5 years overall with that. So I need to do this though, so I don't forget. We need to give a round of thank yous. This was largely done by a lot of our students. And so we have some students that are here. Our culinary arts students from Nevada Union High School District, are they around? Are they in the back there? We need to recognize you. They helped to prepare the food and all of the refreshments tonight. Arts, media, and entertainment, visual tech from both Nevada Union High School as well as Bear River High School. They'll be filming you tonight, so careful what you do. So we want to say thank you to them. And then the centerpieces, our floral design students and from NU participated in decorating and developing the floral design. And then, can they take those?
So yeah, the floral design pieces, you can take them. We just ask that you could leave a donation that can go back to the floral design program.
Short, $100, $200, whatever you think.
Floral design has a tag of which student made it. They signed it.
Yes. So you'll have to fight among your tables about who gets that with that. Linda, anyone else that I'm forgetting that participated in this?
I had a lot of free jobs like Sam and Luke and Kelly.
So yes. So we want. Oh yes, right. We need to thank the NU staff for providing counseling assistance to Linda as she was putting this together. So give her a round of applause, definitely. I want to introduce, if I can, our team. If I've had success this year, it has largely been because of the team that's here in place. And I've had the honor to work with some outstanding educators who have enormous capacity as leaders and also have incredible passion for this community overall. If you are a member of the staff, management staff or staff of the district, would you please stand up for me, please? That means you could attend, yeah. Go up, back. One person we really need to recognize is my administrative assistant, Debbie Zeisler over here. She keeps me on the straight and narrow. Governing the district overall is what we call, or what is called sort of the cabinet. And the cabinet team represents our assistant superintendent and our directors that primarily set the tone and the direction and major policy. We rely on a management team of our site leaders and anyone that serves in a management capacity, whether on the certificated side or on the classified side, to provide input as well as to help direct the overall major policies. My cabinet is critical to the policy making, and one thing I'm really proud of is that we practice what I call cabinet level decision making. Every major decision that comes before the district or any sort of action that we are going to take, we vet at our cabinet meetings. We meet every Tuesday morning from 9 to 11, sometimes to 12, just depends. And we vet those issues, even if it's outside of our individual wheelhouses in terms of our expertise. Every major decision is talked about and vetted through that, as well as we seek input from the outside. So I want to introduce specifically some colleagues of mine. Our assistant superintendent, who I rely on, I consider him our thought leader in the district in terms of instructional practice and instructional pedagogy. And I want to recognize Dan Frizella over here. The individual that helps to put policy into practice and policy into administration by making sure that our numbers are straight, our budget's straight, and we're accountable to the state and the local entities. I want to introduce our Chief Business Officer, Laura Flores. In the area of special education and pupil services, this is a critical area where we provide services to our students that have challenging conditions, whether that be medical, whether that be a learning disability, or whether it be other challenges that they may be facing in their life. And the person that we were able to recruit from Grass Valley Elementary School District for a number, that worked over there for a number of years, Janet Horowitz is over here. A couple other members of our cabinet, our Chief Technology Officer, Bob Lyons, was not able to be here tonight. And then a new position that we created over the past year, our Director of Career Technical Education and State and Federal Programs to oversee our Career Technical Education Program, Aurora Thompson. She's actually in Sacramento for the next couple of days attending meetings related to that as well. So she could not be here. And finally, I want to introduce, if you see all of our construction that's happening around the district, and we have a lot going on with our bond program and other construction-related projects, but Jordan Kohler, our Director of Construction. Now, I would be remiss if I did not introduce my bosses on that. One thing about, in terms of school district governance, is most school districts in the state of California are governed by an elected board of trustees. And in many cases, they represent certain trustee areas and a geographic area. In other cases, they may work at large. Here in our district, they have trustee areas, and we have 5 elected officials that provide that, and they are my boss. And so often how we sort of described it is the board of supervisors or the board of trustees have one employee. They appoint me and evaluate me and hire or fire me with that. And from that point, then I serve as the Chief Executive Officer for the district at that point. So I want to recognize our board, who are graduates of our district, who have longtime residents and longtime leaders. Actually, 3 of our 5 board members are former teachers in the district, or one is actually a teacher in Placer County Office of Education. One is a graduate of our schools. And so deep roots in this community and knowledge of that. And I want to recognize our board president, Jamie Reeves, here. Jim Drew, who many of you know, former ag teacher and longtime board member. Mr. James Hinman is here tonight. And Jim served as a teacher in our district and continuing education and education options. And I just so appreciate his passion for serving students that are facing economic challenges or other challenges in their learning. He's been a real, voice of that population on our board. And then finally, Pat Seeley, representing our South County area. You've been on the board how long now, Pat? How long? Yes. How long?
3 years.
Third year, probably with that. So represents South County and is a very passionate advocate for Bear River High School and the south end of the county for that. So thank you for that. Our past, present, and future. This one thing in coming into this district and doing the research, I've been so impressed with just the incredible accomplishments that have been in place in this district and the long history and traditions that have been in place, not only with athletics, but also with our visual and performing arts programs, our student services. We still have speech and debate team at Nevada Union High School District. And if you haven't worked in education long, you'll know that in many cases after the recession or during the recession, school districts throughout the state cut those programs. They cut their visual and performing arts, they cut their drama, they cut their student activities and speech and debate and other things like that. This district weathered that storm and was able to save and keep those programs by keeping a central focus on what matters the most. And it was a student-centered focus overall where they weathered the storm to do that. This district sustained over 17 years of a consecutive declining enrollment. And if you know anything about education funding, we get paid per the kid. And so when you suffer that type of long-term sustained declining enrollment, it has a significant impact on the ability to offer a wide array of programs and services to our constituents to be able to do that. The last person, I thank you for putting up with all the introductions and stuff, but these people are what are making this district great overall, and I want to recognize them. And the last person I want to recognize is my predecessor. You know, in most cases, a superintendent from a prior superintendent will retire, will leave, or whatever, and usually they go on with that. I have been blessed with the fact that I've not only been able to develop a close friendship, but I have been able to rely on Dr. Johnson, Dr. Louise Johnson, as a mentor and a sounding board for my ideas. She really brought about a lot of peace. She helped pass the bond in this community and put systems in place which have allowed me to be able to, along with my team, to be able to then propel this district forward. And I want to recognize her dedication and friendship and mentorship. Thank you. I will share with you that I have incredible optimism about the possibilities that are before this district. Now, any superintendent in the state with any district, they're going to do the rah-rah about their district. But I want to tell you that what I am impressed most with is the resources that we have at hand. We have challenges by any means. We have big challenges that are ahead of us with that. But I have great optimism in our ability to be able to address those challenges because I'm so impressed with this community. I've been having the opportunity to work in other communities before, where there was entrenchment, where there was multiple communities or different interests to try to bridge together. It was often very, very difficult to be able to do that. Not so in this community. I've been so impressed that more often than not, you are willing to roll up your sleeves and be a part of a solution and not necessarily be, whining about a problem with that. Our scholarship program, for instance, raises and distributes over almost $1 million per year in scholarships. I came from a district that was just under 23,000 students. We barely raised $1 million in our scholarship program. So on a per capita basis, that is incredible, and it's a testament to the support that this community has and the belief it has in its high schools in this community and what is possible. So I have great optimism with that. Some of the challenges that we have, and then what I'll do is there's some programs that I want to highlight through this, and I'm going to ask some of my colleagues to come up and highlight those individual programs. But one challenge that we face, and this is no different than any other school district, but one challenge we face with our district is the limited resources that might be available to us. There's always a greater need in terms of spending and requirements and pressures that are coming from both internally and externally in the district then what are available resources? And this past year, as we then perhaps grapple with the possibility of an economic slowdown or an economic recession or such, we're seeing that revenues that are coming from the state to school districts are beginning to slow down in terms of their overall growth. And we'll need to be very careful and have a clear mindset about how we spend our dollars going into the future with that. Other challenges that we have. I posted, are we facing economic recession? And when is that overall? We will see tighter fiscal constraints as well as greater programmatic need. We have significant changes in our demographics in our area. Approximately 40% of our students would classify as low socioeconomic or facing challenges in terms of their barriers to learning, whether that be economic, whether that be learning barriers, or whether that be violence in the home. We have a significant portion of our population that struggles with multi-generational poverty, and that's very different than what we faced 20 years ago in that population. 20 years ago, that population was maybe perhaps 12 or 13% of the district. It is now just a little over 40%, and likely will continue to trend with that. And as a result, those students need different types of services and intervention in order to provide services and meet their needs in order to create maximum opportunities for them. I will tell you from an education perspective, I will always care about test scores. I mean, that's one thing that we're weighed on and we look on. But that will not be the only factor that we consider. What we will do is we will prepare our students and do everything that we can to prepare our students for career, college, and life overall. And it's very important to me that we are not only a district that focuses on instruction and academic achievement, but also focuses on the well-being of our students overall. And that may be social emotional, that may be economic, or that might be some other learning disability that they may have overall. One comment or one quote that I like to live by is that if you find a path with no obstacles, it probably doesn't lead you anywhere with that. And so obstacles are what we will always have overall. But we have incredible resources and opportunity before us. I mentioned the strong and supportive community overall. We have community investment, scholarship program. Our community raised over $200,000 for the NU High School scoreboard. When you need assistance down at Bear River, they step up to the plate to be able to be a part of a solution. I have to tell you, you may have been here a long time, but as a person that comes from other communities, that is not normal. So you need to give yourself a round of applause for just being There's a sense of pragmatism here. You're a pragmatic problem solvers. I have a dedicated and very talented staff from not only at the cabinet level, but in the classroom, but also on our grounds. Our custodians, our maintenance folks, our food services folks, all have incredible passion for this community and passion for serving this district. I'm very blessed with the fact that we've had prudent fiscal policies. We have a sound budget, sound reserves that are in place. Over the next couple of months, the board will be engaged in looking at revisiting our reserve policy. And do we need a policy that needs to change or be updated in order to perhaps prepare for a possible economic downturn? We were fortunate this past year to realize some one-time increased revenues associated with property taxes. And the board is looking at this of being able to move those dollars into a reserve pot in order to prepare for and create a rainy day fund. And again, that is not something that is done in a lot of districts. If you read the Sacramento Bee, you'll read stories about what Sac City is going through right now. That is not the case here. Very sound, pragmatic, sound policies that are put in place over this. Also, I would be remiss if I did not talk about our robust programs. If you have a chance to see any of our plays or our dance recitals or come and hear our choir or our band, it is just nothing short of incredible to be able to have that as programs in place. Those programs have challenges associated with providing a maximum scheduling and options with them, but we'll be working on that collectively to be able to provide and come up with a new type of bell schedule in the future that will be able to provide not only core academic programs, but also provide our students a wider array of elective options so that they can explore passions that they have overall in their life. And I'm going to ask some of my staff to provide that information as well. Our major initiatives that we would like to look at, we have many of them over the course of this next year. These are things that we have launched, some of which were begun under the leadership of my predecessor. Others are new. We'll be launching with a new district mission and vision statement and corresponding strategic plan. And that work, as I mentioned before, will be happening over the course of the next several months, ultimately culminating in a new adoption of what is called a local accountability plan and strategic plan in June of 2020 overall with that. Our colleagues are working at the possibility of a new bell schedule, and a new bell schedule that will be able to provide a wider array of courses and options. Right now we operate on what's called a 6-period day. Students generally take 6 classes overall with that, and that's what we're able to offer that. I can tell you that many high schools, districts that have sort of begun to move their needle in terms of student achievement and offering of elective options have gone to different schedule options. And so 6-period day is somewhat of a little bit of an older model, and so we want to look at those possibilities with that. We have sound fiscal management. I'm very, very happy to say that the community supported a bond back in 2016 led by Dr. Johnson with that. And we have a facilities bond program in place. You'll see a lot of work that's happening at our school sites, and we are stepping that up and have several other programs or projects on the docket that will be happening. So the good news is we have a lot of modernization and construction happening on our campuses. The bad news is we have a lot of construction and modernization happening on our campuses on that. And so poor Nevada Union and Kelly and her team have had to put up now with 6 months of basically the lower half of the campus torn up with dust and dirt and everything else that's going on with that. And then multiple warnings about when we hit a gas main or we hit a water main or anything like that, whether or not we need to turn off school or not in those days. So they've been very patient with that. We're implementing new instructional practices and professional development practices in the area of professional development communities, as well as one thing I'm very, very proud of, and this is coming from this team here, is looking at how we address student discipline and how we address the needs of students, both instructionally and in their lives, and what's typically called trauma-informed or restorative practices that we're putting in place. And very, very excited and proud of that. We have one of the most vibrant CTE, Career Technical Education programs, what used to be called Voc Ed programs that I have ever seen. And I'm going to ask Mr. Reed to come up in a little bit to present on those. We are working now with our community, the Nevada County Contractors Association, as well as other partners, Sierra College and others, to look at our CTE programs and continue to grow them, revamp them, and address what are the needs out there for not only students, but also what's the needs and what's going on out there in terms of the industry overall. I could go on and on about our what we have launched overall with that, but I want to give it time, if we can, to focus a little bit on some specific areas of our major initiatives. I'd like to ask Mr. Frizella, if you would be so kind to come up and share with, if you could, on our instructional practices and things that we're launching there.
Sure, thank you, Mr. McFadden. You guys gonna buy the timeshare or skip? Just thought I'd replay that thing. Thank you guys for being here. I guess looking around the room, I'm looking at a lot of people that have spent so much time and donated resources and time and money and energy to the students of our school district, and just thank you guys for being here, and thank you guys for all that you do and that you continue to do. Our students couldn't get to where they're going without your support, and our staff couldn't do it without you as well. So really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys for everything that you do. Blood, sweat, tears, all of it, and dollars, of course. So 3 initiatives that Mr. McFadden wanted me to speak about. I don't want to go into terrible detail because there's lots of education-ese and we can get mired in the weeds a little bit. But I'll just say that this is my 9th year in the district. I came in as an assistant principal coming out of an urban school in Sacramento, and it was a really nice change. It was different. I left the 2nd most diverse school district in the nation to come to Nevada County, which has a ton of diversity, but not the same kind of diversity that we had in urban Sacramento. But it's been a pleasure. The 3 initiatives we have this year in terms of our professional development and our instructional focus, I think for the first time in a long time, I can say that what I'm really proud of is that all of our school sites are on the same page with these 3 initiatives. And we're all working together and we're all moving in the same direction. And we have really strong consensus among our site leaders, amongst our principals and our assistant principals to guide the instructional work that we're doing. So these 3 things are sort of buzzwords in the educational world. Professional learning communities. In short, when most of us went to school, we had teachers working in pockets or islands of classrooms where they went into their bag of tricks or their file cabinet and they pulled out their lessons that they developed or they got from somewhere and they held them pretty tight. And depending on what class you were in, you got a certain level of instruction. Professional communities break down those walls and they encourage teachers, well, they mandate that staff and teachers work together to really answer 3 simple questions. A, what do we want students to learn? And they develop, hey, really with a laser-like focus, quoting Luke Browning, laser-like focus on what students need to learn for each course. Cut out the fluff, just what they need to learn. How do we know if they learned it? So teachers agree on what assessments they're going to give and how they're going to assess students' mastery of a skill set or a standard. And then what do we do if they don't? So we intervene when students don't learn a concept or a skill because we've identified it as critical. So if it's critical, we have to respond if they haven't learned it. That's professional learning communities, and that's staff and teachers working together. Universal design for learning. Brett was speaking about our changing demographics, our changing population. A universal design for learning breaks down barriers to learning for students. It stresses presenting material in different ways, different modalities, different presentations. And then giving students different ways to demonstrate learning. So I can probably recite a poem to you that demonstrates I understand a standard, whereas Kelly Roden may write an essay that demonstrates the same level of learning. So there's an openness. We can all learn a concept and we can demonstrate that we've mastered that concept in different ways. So that's UDL without getting really into the weeds. And then lastly, Brett touched on as well, restorative and trauma-informed practices. So we spent a long time issuing discipline and consequences for students for doing bad things. So a student gets into a fight and we say, hey, you get to go on vacation for 5 days, go home. Your parents are at work, you have access to the TV, to video games, whatever else you can get your hands on in the cabinets, whatever. And students don't learn from that kind of thing. So restorative practices are an approach to school discipline and to relationships where we repair the harm that was done by a particular incident. If you cussed out a teacher, then you should go and face that teacher and hear from them how it made them feel and have some discourse and repair the harm that you did to that teacher, and then go back to class because you need to learn. You're here to learn, okay? So sending kids home as a consequence doesn't necessarily develop the human beings that we're trying to develop and make a part of our community and a part of our society. So that's it in a brief nutshell. Again, we could spend a couple hours, but you guys aren't here for that. So thank you again for being here. I'm going to slip out that way because I have to go coach 6th grade basketball so I can help Mark Casey's varsity program start when they're done. So thank you again.
Up next, and we were able to launch this past year a really interesting and really kind of cool program and course offering that we have. And I want to introduce our extraordinary principal from NJUHSD, Kelly Roden.
Thank you, and thank you to everybody for being here. I appreciate it. Thanks for all the support. I know so many of you, I have so many familiar faces, and some people I need to get to know. Thank you for being here. I'm going to talk really briefly about our new programs. We have or one in particular I'm really going to focus on. Get focused, stay focused, and health education. Those are two things that health we've been doing forever, right? We have health classes, those are there. And then we're going to talk about get focused, stay focused. So we still have our one semester class of health at Nevada Union. That is back. That has been going on in all of our other schools forever. It never went away. When we talk about health classes, I know there's a ton out there, but when we talk about health classes, we're continuing to talk about those mental health concerns. We're talking about sexuality, alcohol, tobacco, other drugs, and nutrition. Students need to get this information. There's mandates from the state. We have educators that are very highly qualified in teaching these classes. So for one semester across our district, different ways, potentially for Godoti, I believe, is taking it through Sierra College, but there are classes in all of our sites for health, and we are teaching those courses, extremely important for our kids. Backed up to that, we have a new program that was really piloted by Godoti and Bear River. We had a Godoti counselor and staff members that went out and found this program called Get Focused, Stay Focused. I think it has been around for a long time. It used to be Career Choices for some people that may have seen it in the past. This is a great lead up into promoting our CTE programs, our career technical education programs, but it's a great lead up for all students to learn about why they're doing what they're doing. Why is every class important? I always want to make sure we explain, I always want to know why I'm doing something, right? So kids need to understand why they're doing what they're doing. If we can give them a reason, if we can give them a focus, it's going to make everything so much more meaningful. So what the whole thing behind all of this is you'll get a semester in your freshman year of Get Focused, Stay Focused. We start there in the freshman year. So all of our schools are doing this. Some schools are further along than others. Bear River, I believe, is doing freshmen and sophomores are going through. Godoti has all of their students going through. I'm looking back there because I know it's different for every site. Nevada Union, we have so many kids. We are starting with the freshman class where they will get the first initial part. They create a 10-year plan. They start talking about career choices. They start talking about colleges. They start looking at their goal for their future. What do I want to be? What do I want to do with my life? We got to start that conversation earlier. We got to give them some education around it so they can make better choices for themselves, right? This is probably one of my most favorite programs. I think I'm going to take over and start teaching this later in life for sure. Maybe go work for this company. I don't know because I love it. It's all those things that we want kids. Who am I? What do I want? And how do I get it? Right? That's what they want to know every single day. Freshmen will get the start on their 10-year plan. They're going to create a 10-year plan online. They go through all kinds of activities. They start talking about job skills. They start talking about how to do an interview, how to answer an email, how to write an introductory essay for themselves, all those kinds of things. But they start setting goals for themselves. They start looking at what lifestyle do they want. They start looking at budgets. Can you imagine? Like, we want our kids looking at budget. Career choices, education plans. That should all lead to the success in the future, right? So we're not going to stop at their freshman year. They're going to get that intro. Every staff member on campus can see their 10-year plan. So it changes our conversations. A student is struggling in your class, I might, to calm them down, say, hey, let's pull up your 10-year plan. What do you want to be when you grow up? Instead of talking about the issue that's happening right now, then we can start flipping the conversation as to how is this behavior going to get you there, right? So the conversations start changing. They start talking to their parents. They already are. Hopefully some of you are parents, freshmen, that are hearing about this class. Hopefully they can start thinking about their future. This will carry into their sophomore year. In their sophomore English classes, they'll get some more education. They'll adjust their 10-year plan, because if you think about freshmen, they're a little bit squirrely, super fun, tons of energy, but I'm going to be, NBA player. I'm going to be the next rock star out there on the mound pitching, whatever it might be. I'm going to be a superstar. They get into their sophomore year and it starts to adjust a little bit. Just a little bit. They start to laugh at themselves when they're a freshman. I am so mature. And now we're going to go into our sophomore year, right? And we adjust what we're looking at. It's a great conversation for counselors because they have a plan. Now when they sit down with the counselor, how are we going to help you fulfill your plan? What classes should you take to help you get there? It's better conversations for our kids. It helps everybody move forward. Why am I doing what I'm doing, right? So then as we get into our junior year, in our US history classes, they'll be getting 16 more lessons with our US history teachers. They'll be reviewing their 10-year plan. Things get serious now. Now we're in our junior and senior year. You gotta do internships. You gotta start looking at what you really wanna do with your life. Maybe some job shadowing comes into play. They start developing what that 10-year plan is truly gonna look like, right? We have a higher success rate with a 10-year plan if we go 10 years out, not 5. We wanna go 10 years out and keep having those conversations. Senior year fits in perfectly for senior project, right? So not only so in their senior year, they go back into their English classes and they get to review that 10-year plan. And when I went to a high school, Manteca High School, where we go and have learned a ton about this, you go into classrooms and you talk to seniors and they're like, I wish I would have paid more attention when I was a freshman. So we're gonna get those seniors as they move through talking to our freshmen about that. But now you're talking, they have to do job shadowing. They have to look at careers or do internships. It's part of the plan, right? They hopefully will walk away from high school with this 10-year plan, and they should be able to now do a senior project where they present their 10-year plan. So you as community members come in and you get to hear what they get out of their high school experience. What are they gonna do now? What's their future look like? Is it a trade school? Is it a 4-year college? What college is it? Does that college even have the career choice that I want, right? Many of our kids get into college and they thought they had a great plan. Now they're in debt because I don't really want to do that career because I never really investigated it. I never went out and job shadowed. So this is a way for us to bring in that career and college readiness and give students the education that they need to make better decisions for themselves moving forward, and hopefully get them out to the community, doing some job shadows, doing some internships, doing some discovery. Super excited about it. So that's our highlight, I think. Right?
Yeah, great job. She's not passionate at all, is she? Not at all. No. This is just, like I said, one of our outstanding leaders that we have. Next up, we want to share some information and perspective about our career technical education programs. And I want to introduce our assistant principal at NJU High School, Mr. Tim Reed.
Thanks, Brett. I'm excited to be at the McFadden wedding. I hope the DJ's really well. I've known Brett for, sorry. So, I'm up here to fill in for Aurora Thompson, and really the reason is because if you're not from Nevada County, the next best county to be from is Plumas County. And both of us grew up together in Quincy, California, and we both went to same high school. We were close in age, so it's really cool to have her in the district. And I will tell you right now, we got to steal her from another district in the county, and it has been amazing. The work that Aurora has done in a short amount of time as we built on a lot of work. Scott Michael's back there, and he's now an assistant principal with us. He did a ton of good work over the last couple of years in career technical education to really get us kind of pointed in the right direction. And now Aurora Thompson has been able to come in and really start moving that needle with the foundation that Scott put down and the great programs that we have. And so we've done a lot of work in the past couple of years, and thanks to the board and thanks to the community, in keeping our programs intact at all of our sites. And Nevada Union, right now, we have 14 different pathways. We have our top three pathways there, as you can see: culinary, automotive, and ag mechanics. And then as we go through there, it's pretty similar down, and we're really looking forward to adding construction trades in 2020 at Silver Springs High School. What we've really focused on over the last couple of years, really from the input of many of you in this room, is internships and getting students from our pathways out into businesses in the community. And what we've found is that we've got Jeff Hansen, we've got the folks knocking on our door saying, I need people to work for me. And I don't need people to work for me in 5 years. As soon as they graduate, I need somebody on the job ready to go. And so we're going to do the best we can with that and partner, and we've started to partner, doing some great partnerships with Sierra College, and then now focusing with the Get Focused, Stay Focused, it really scaffolds on putting students out in the industries in our community. So one of the areas, I thought we had one more internship side, but one of the things that we want to start to expand over the next couple of years is really that focus on those pathways and those internships in those pathways. And we're starting to put some meetings together to really start to look at stakeholders about what kind of jobs they actually need, and making sure that we're teaching those skills in our career technical education programs. And we believe that we have some extremely strong career technical education programs, and what we can do is really fit the needs of almost every single one of our stakeholders across the county with the programs that we have. And one area that we've started to see is that we want to look at some other new areas, and it's a difficult thing to say, hey, we're just going to start new programs. Starting new programs is not always the best thing, because we have some really great programs and we want to support those programs. But we also want to make sure we meet the area of needs that we have in the county. And one of those areas of needs is the medical field. And so we've looked at that and started to see, hey, we might need to get some folks that can go into the medical field to be ready for the medical field. So we want to start doing that a little bit too. But construction trades, we're getting ready to go with what we're doing at Silver Springs, what we're doing through our ag mechanics programs, through our wood shop programs, through our engineering programs. We're pretty solid and ready to put kids in those positions. With our culinary arts, as you can see tonight, it's amazing what they already can do. We're going to have a reboot of that program once we get in at Nevada Union anyway, when we get our new facility built up in the next couple of years. I hope that all of you will be able to come down. We're hoping to have a little cafe down there, getting that experience in the food service industry, making sure that they get that real world experience in the classroom. And then also we have some awesome ones that we're putting internships already. Our sports medicine program, when we go around to other high schools in our area and we tell them that we have sports medicine interns, all of our sports teams has a trainer that is trained through our high school that is doing the taping, doing the icing, working with the students. We've got them on the basketball benches, we've got them on the volleyball benches, all the way up to football, and that's a very special program, so we're continuing that. And then if we look at the boys in the back right there, they're the guys cutting video up, making things happen. We've got all kinds of awesome content being put out there in digital media arts, and making sure that they're prepared and ready for that digital media world. And on that sheet there, if you flip it over, you can see kind of what we have and the availability of those. And what's that? The what? Oh yeah. And so we're doing some great things so the person that put this together, she's a Bear River student. She's right over there. Give her a round of applause. So she's already doing that marketing materials. And those are the kind of things that we want to start to promote, and that's where we want to put our students. So we want to thank you, and we also want to hear from you. I know Aurora and a lot of our career technical education pathway teachers want to hear from you as industry partners and saying what you need, how we can help you, and how we can put our students in your jobs. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you so much for your time. We're coming into the home stretch, and you've been very generous with your time and such. It's hard to share everything that we're doing overall. And one thing that is critical in order to having effective instructional programs and opportunities for students is having facilities and classrooms and learning environments that are conducive to that. And I'm very, very proud to introduce the next person. It was a position that I was able to sort of modify and create, and then was able to promote this outstanding leader into the position. Mr. Jordan Kohler is our Director of Facilities and Construction, and he's a graduate of NJU High School. Actually, you used to drive Mr. Drew nuts, right, when you were a student? But look, he made good like that. And so Jordan oversees all of our bond program and our facilities and construction program, and he'll be sharing some information about that. So Jordan.
So good evening. They only gave me one slide, so I'm going to try to keep it short. I was the construction guy and not a presenter. Anyway, like Brenda previously said, under Dr. Johnson's tenure, the district was able to pass a bond, Measure B, and what that is we're using it for upgrades and updates to all of our facilities. We went through a process about the time that Mr. McFadden came on. We reevaluate some of our processes and our goals of that bond, and adjust it to be more student-driven, more safety, classroom environments, things that are going to benefit the students directly. So with that, we have a lot of things in planning, in work, things that have been done. Bear River High School got a brand new fire alarm system, state-of-the-art. The little pull stations we used to pull to get out of class, yeah, those are gone. So you have to take your lighter to the little thing now. But anyway, that was Bear River got that. It's a great system. They haven't had any false alarms since it's been installed. So keeping kids in class, keeping them safe, it's a much better system. We're moving along. Nevada Union got some new paving and things last year. They're still going. If anybody's been up there, you can see we're well under construction. There will be some paving happening in October, and we'll be getting rid of some gravel. Other things we've done is adjust the lawn. We have the lower corner there is some of the new classroom furniture. We were able to get approximately 2,500 new seats and desks in the district. There was desks and chairs there that were probably original. I'm not joking. We pulled out wooden desks and chairs from Nevada Union, 1960-ish. 1962. Okay. They were solid. We got our money's worth out of them. So we have the new futuristic learning environments. They're modular. You can move around, you get fruits, you can do all kinds of fun stuff. The kids are loving them. You can lean back in the chair, you can rock. Anyway, it's awesome. Bear River got a new track last year. Projects that are upcoming. Career Tech Ed. We've got 4 major projects for Career Tech Ed. Modernization of both Bear River and Nevada Union's ag mechanics shops. So that's going to be some of these new welding booths are down in the lower corner here. They're actually going to mirror Butte College, which is where a lot of the kids from those programs are going to be going. So that's a great thing on those 2 programs. Silver Springs High School. On that site, we're creating a Park Avenue construction trades pathway, and with that, it's going to be a brand new construction trades facility. It's going to be open construction, blue lamb exposed beams, beautiful building for construction trades to be taught in. Hopefully it'll be inspiring to the students that are there. Nevada Union High School, so our culinary for tonight. They are getting a brand new state-of-the-art commercial teaching kitchen. It's going to have 8 stations, just like you see in a restaurant, for teaching culinary. Get those kids ready to go out the second they come out of that program. Additionally, past that, with this summer and into next fall, over the next year, the district's going to get 2/3 of the district new air conditioning HVAC. So those of us who went through Nevada Union with no air conditioning in the gyms, this is the last graduating class to be able to say that. We all made it, but we need it. The other things that are up and coming on the slate, Nevada Union High School modernization of the band and choir rooms. That is, we're pushing very, very hard to get that into the state for approval for construction this summer. And then a little bit of non-Measure B things. We're going to start seeing solar canopies at both Bear River and Nevada Union. Something about 3 megawatts worth of solar is going to be coming off of the 2 sites. Anyway, that's the update on construction.
In 18 months, if Jordan looks a little haggard, you know we're the reason why. We're about to have over 15 major construction projects, perhaps all going on simultaneously with that. We'll see what we do. Gentlemen in the back with the media arts, I've asked that if when you're filming, you can make me look taller. How you doing? All right? Taller, thinner?
Yeah, it's like straight up, you know?
I was 6'3" when I started this job last year. Next up, now we know many of you are participants and donors in our scholarship program, and that was one of the reasons why we wanted to host this night for you to share information about what we're doing. Your participation in your particular scholarship fund or the donations that you oversee provide our students with the ability to fulfill their dreams. And you are a partner to us with that. And we recognize that, and we do not take you for granted. You are a critical reason why this district is able to send many of its graduates off into the world of career or college, and many of our graduates are doing incredible things out there in the world, and you are a critical part of that. Running our scholarship program is our new scholarship coordinator, and this is another individual that I had the great honor and ability to be able to select and appoint into this position. And the work that she and her partner Donna have done in the last 3 months on this program has just been nothing short of miraculous. That's the good news. The bad news is she basically tells me what to do and when to do it every day. The good news is I listen to her with that. But she has incredible ideas and is incredibly passionate with district. Linda Belusian.
Thank you guys for hanging in here. I promise I'm going to go quick. I only have one slide as well. Brett recently said that we collected almost $1 million, and the last time I checked it was around $800,000, which tells me I have to get $200,000 more somehow. So I'm not sure if that was like a sly little notion to do, so I'm looking at people that can maybe help me with that, because I'd like to keep my job. I love this job. It's been a lot of fun. Donna Neese back there, she's really a big Christmas present that I just cannot get enough of, and I'm so grateful and so fortunate to work with her. She sometimes is like my second mom, and then she's telling me what to do, which is when I tell Brett what to do. So it works out very well. So yes, last year we gave around $800,000 out in our district, so thank you. That's because of our community. That's because of all these faces that I'm seeing. See, I'm already cutting time. I went over new staff. There we go. Our vision is to continue on the legacy that Nevada Joint Union High School District is known for in terms of giving out scholarships. Donna and I have been working with a lot of high school districts in the region, and they don't have these programs. These programs don't exist at their high school sites or in their districts. So we're very, very special, and we're really awesome. And I'm proud. I'm a proud alumni, and I'm a proud employee. And I hope you guys are proud when you walk out of here after you hear all these amazing things tonight too, and you want to continue your role in the scholarship program as well. We are bringing the scholarship program to the 21st century. It's going online. We're getting a software program. It's no more paper applications, no more copying a lot. No. So I know there's some people that are like, I don't do that though. I do paper. That's okay. I have a brand new office with brand new office furniture that you can come host your meetings. You can come use our copier to print things off if you like. I encourage you to come visit us in B3 on the Nevada Union campus, right next to Otto. If you need to host a meeting, if you need to just sit and talk about your scholarship or your organization or a different directive you want to go, come have a chat with us. We always have coffee going. That's it for sure. And we have now bubble water at all times. So, thank you. I did that, but I can do that all night long. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Really, if you get to work with the staff that we have and our board of trustees, and mainly the students who are here tonight are some of my absolute favorites. If I talk about them too long, I'll start to cry. So I'm going to cut that there, but thank you. Our students are really benefiting from you. And again, what makes this so special is we have two amazing foundations, and because I cut a few things, I think I can afford time for this, but if you are involved with the Godoti Foundation or our own board foundation, please stand up. You guys are amazing to partner with. I know you're here, stand up. I recognize you. Claudia, you can stand up. So our scholarship program, I learned through a Godoti meeting the other day with Claudia, Godoti has been around for nearly 30 years and has given out almost $14 million in scholarships. The Godoti Foundation really paved the way for this program and has paved the way for me to have this amazing job, so thank you for that. And then not to forget our own amazing board foundation, the Nevada Joint Union High School Foundation. Like, we could not do this work, we could not send these kids onto their dreams without you guys. And so we really appreciate you, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention one thing from our own board. We have a fundraiser coming up. There's a sign out in the foyer when you leave, but it's, when is it?
Next Tuesday at Northridge, Colby Road.
So the Lake of the Pines Northridge, next Tuesday at any time, whatever you purchase there.
Dinner and desserts.
Oh, dinner and desserts, okay, good thing we noticed that. 20% of those proceeds are going back into our foundation board and will be put into scholarships for students, so.
And all of the dessert proceeds.
All of the desserts, so that's good. So, thank you all very much.
I can get 2 cheesecakes and not feel guilty about it, right? Again, thank you so much for your being here tonight. We want to talk about our 2025 vision. And the one thing that I have brought and introduced to the board and sort of been really pushing on this is the development of a wildly or big audacious goal. It's something that we will strive for that's perhaps you might think out of our realm. And the one we are working on this, and it may not be this, but it will embody this basic philosophy that we are the best high school district in the state of California. We will do that by preparing our students for careers, for possibly college, but we will also prepare them for life. And we will help to intervene and provide assistance to them if they are struggling with aspects of their life or things that are going on in their families. We will offer them a wide spectrum of ideas, arts, music, drama. We will offer them the possibility of participating in speech and debate, other arts programs that are out there. It's not only just our belief that our students need an instructional and core instructional experiences in instruction, but what makes us better people are those other things in the visual and performing arts arena or athletics with that. I can tell you as a former wrestler myself, I have to be honest with you, and maybe I'm a little guilty for saying this, but I learned more on the wrestling mat at times than I did in trigonometry. With that, in terms of that exposure with that. And so that's what we're going to be a part of. There'll be opportunities over the course of this year via online surveys and other ways to participate in this process of offering input of what does this vision look like and what are the goals and things that the district should set in place to be able to attain the vision overall. We'll be seeking your input and inviting you to input, and we need your input in this overall. In conclusion, I have a great sense of possibility and optimism in this district, in this community, and that's mainly because of all of you that are in the room. Our staff, community members, our board that is here. I can honestly tell you, I've been a part of other districts. My wife and I had the opportunity that we both were on a cabinet together in Monterey Peninsula Unified, not to bash your district, but I did not feel this sense of energy, this sense of possibility that is out there. And so I believe that our best days in this district and in this community are ahead of us overall. We very much have a cup that is half full with that. If you get an email from me, there's a tagline at the end of it, and it's one of the other sort of Brett mantras that I sort of live by. And I'm not sure actually who came up with the quote, but I found it through my travels and travails, and that is that in this business, whether we are staff or whether we're members of this community, in this business and this endeavor that we are a part of, optimism is an ethical duty. Because without optimism, we cannot bring about sustained and positive change and effect for the students that we work for and the families that we work for in this community. It is an honor to be superintendent in this district. It is a great honor to be a part of this collective endeavor with you and to serve you and to serve this community and have that opportunity. I thank you for coming tonight, and I wish you the best of luck. Thank you.